Hello and welcome everyone. In one of my last videos I have looked at Aaron Bristow's new plugin Uzu because it is emulating Harmor's Phasor but as an effect instead of part of an additive synthesizer. And I've done so by putting it into a delay plus feedback loop. Now the problem with that is Bitwig is the only DAW out there that has a delay where you can put plugins into the feedback loop. At least one, but I think a lot of people are wondering, is there any third-party delay like the Bitwig one? I guess it would be possible to do it in effects track in Ableton with Sense and stuff, but I was just wondering if there was any third-party plugin. There is no third-party plugin like that, and the reason for that is because the moment you make a plugin host, you are responsible to make all kinds of plugins work with your plugin. So if you make a plugin that can host plugins, then suddenly you have a lot of responsibilities, and most plugin developers don't like that. They want their plugins to be accepted in all of the major DAWs, but they don't want to be responsible for these kind of things themselves. But, and here's the thing, you can do that, and the cool thing is you can even do that in every DAW you like. It doesn't even need to be Bitwig or Ableton or one of the other modern DAWs. If you have an audio interface with a loopback feature, which I have now, because I recently bought a new interface. And I will demonstrate that to you with this ancient DAW, Cubase Artist 9.5.3, in which I prepared this beat. Now, this DAW has a so-called loopback feature, which means there is a loopback mixer where you can say which part of the signal should be looped back into the loopback input. And if I play back the audio from Cubase, you can see that the main output is being routed into the loopback mixer. And that means that I should be able to pick up this signal in an audio track. So let's make a stereo track and just check for the stereo inputs. And we can see no bass or stereo input. And if we play back, then there is nothing coming into this input. So let's just mute that for now and call that loopback because we are making it work very soon. And then we go to the, well, where was it? Some audio Verbindungen, that is audio connections in English, and this is inputs and outputs. So here in the inputs I should be able to make a new input, call it loopback, and then I guess I should be able to select the loopback. Yeah, loopback left, loopback right, that should be correct. Now I should be able to select that here, yes. So let's play that back. Oof. Okay, it works. Now it can be a little bit deceiving here in Cubase because the meter doesn't show you anything coming in unless you are actually unmuting the track. That is different in Bitwig, so that confused me right now, but yeah, it works. So if we make it rather quiet, then it will not explode immediately. Now, this sounds like comp filter artifacts because it is comp filter artifacts. You would get the same sound if you took these drums. Where is the drums group? Oh, wait, that is not a group because we are in Cubase where folders and groups are not the same thing. Obviously, very good workflow. Okay, let's make a group. Let's make a drums group and route everything into this group. Alright, and now if I load Rift Feedback Light, I can dial in a comp filter. And this is pretty cool because I can select the pitch that I want to have. And you might be wondering now, well, I can select the pitch in a plugin like this, but I cannot select the pitch with this loopback workflow, right? It just seems to be on a specific pitch, and this pitch is determined by the block size, because loopback means that it takes the current block and feeds it into the next block. I will not change that right now to demonstrate that because I don't know how that would still work with my screen capture audio recording stuff. Maybe that would have to rearrange or bug out. So I will keep it on this size, but just so you know, you can change the way the sound behaves with that. Well, you cannot change the pitch, but there is one thing that you can do here, which you cannot do in a plugin like Riff Feedback Lite, which is just instantiating effects. This would essentially be the same as if you load effects in the feedback loop in Delay Plus in Bitwig. So now you can actually load any effects in the feedback loop of a delay. And as you can see, that has a wildly different behavior than as if you were loading an equalizer in a normal context. And you can also do stuff like this, loading a compressor to make it never jump out too hard. Yeah, and now you can load anything in here. What if we load a saturation plugin, for example? And what if we want to record that now? Then there is a recording error. Well, wait, I can explain that actually. This issue probably does not come from this loopback workflow, but I suppose that this has something to do with my firewall, because I recently upgraded to Windows 11, and when I started with Windows 10, then I had to make some changes to the firewall settings so that Cubase actually lets me record stuff without audio dropouts. And I think this could be the same thing because it was just the same error message. Maybe the upgrade to Windows 11 has overridden some of my safety settings. That would make sense. There is no reason why loopback would cause this behavior, but maybe we can still make it work. Maybe it will work now. Let's go. Now let's check out this sound that we got. Now we should be able to disable these effects and still get this sound. Yeah, as you can see, the dropouts also happen when I'm not in the process of loopbacking. So that was definitely more of a firewall thing than a loopback thing. Sounds better when I keep the effects on though. Actually a really cool beat that I made in this ancient ass DAW. Yeah, then that's how you can use loopback interfaces to get around the fact that you don't have Bitwig, if that is the case.